All right, welcome back. This is your real lesson one, session one. For the last one was just more of like our warm-up video. This is a real lesson, finally. So go and open up your books, and I want you to open to page 5. And you're going to go ahead and fill out these pages with me. And what's so awesome about doing a recording like this is that if I'm going too fast, which I usually do because I talk really fast, is you can pause the video and you can let yourself catch up with me. Or you can rewind the video if something didn't make sense. So keep that in mind. That's an option for you to do. Okay. Yesterday we talked about rigid transformations. And remember, that's like the shape doesn't change its shape. Like it doesn't change what it looks like, but it does change its location. And there's a lot of really cool ways that we can transform a shape without actually transforming what it looks like. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and go through some of those real quick. So there is such thing as a slide. So I'm just going to draw a shape real quick. Just like a crazy little shapey shape. If a shape slides, it literally just slides. Okay, it doesn't actually change anything. It just slides. Do you see how like the shape is still pointing the same direction and everything? It's just sliding to a new location. That's called a slide. Okay. Another transformation is called a flip. Now, I don't think my handy dandy stylus is going to allow me to flip this shape. But I can redraw the shape that was flipped. Let's pretend this is a line. And I say, flip my shape over that line. What that means is you just have to take each corner and just kind of like line it up. So like, for example, let's start with this corner. It's about that far from the line, so I'm going to redraw where it would be. Now I'm going to do this corner, and then this corner, and then this corner, and this corner. I'm going to do this one first. So it looks like this one's just a little bit ahead of this one, lined up with this one. Okay, so it's going to go like right there. This guy's right above him. This guy's right next to him, and like just a little diagonal from that guy. And like this will be so much easier when we have graph paper, my friends, but I'm just kind of, oops, that was rough. I'm just kind of doing a rough idea for you. Wow, Mrs. Ringler. Shaky much? Kind of slanted. Kind of slanted. Okay. Well, you get the gist. It's literally like this shape just flipped over this line to this shape, okay? I'm going to erase that because it's really embarrassing to look at. That's a flip. Okay, so we've got slides, we got flips. We also have rotations. I'm going to draw a new shape, one that's a little easier for me to rotate. How about a nice, beautiful right triangle? If I were to rotate this, that means I would pick a corner and move it. And now I want this corner to stay the same, okay? So it would kind of just rotate counterclockwise backwards. So let's say the new point's up here. It's still a right triangle, but you see how I accidentally made it a little too tall, so it'd have to go a little bit more like this because the new right angle is still here. It's just that it rotated. Okay, enough of Mrs. Ringler's bad drawings. You get the idea. So there is slides, flips, rotations, and all of those are called translations. They translate somewhere else, okay? When you think of a translator, it's someone who knows both of the languages, right? So if I am an English-speaking person and I need someone to translate Spanish for me, that translator isn't changing what I'm saying. They're just changing the language so the person can understand me. Think of these as kind of like a translation, okay? They're still the same shape. They've just been slid or flipped so that they can be in a different spot, okay? All right, enough of me jabbering about. Let's go look at number 1A. You can slide figure A to the right to get its image onto figure B. Complete the image by drawing the missing sides of figure B. So let me just like trace A for a second, because I can't physically move A because it's in the book. But if I trace it, then I can move it and show you that if I slide this little sucker, do you see how it fits in B pretty well? I mean, if I would have traced it nicer, but now we know exactly it just slid over here. So technically speaking, let me go ahead and erase my junk over here. Technically speaking, wouldn't you say that this angle and this angle are the exact same angle? Definitely. Let's just go ahead and finish out this drawing. Looks like this is perfectly straight up. Okay, so it's not perfect, but you get the picture, okay? Now, a movement that slides a figure is called a translation. We just learned that. What is the same about A and B, and what is different? Okay, so what is the same? They are both the same shape. They are both the same size. They have the same measurements, like their angles and their sides are all the same. Now, what is different? There's only one thing that's different, and that is their location. That is the only thing. It's a slide, it's a translation. Remember, you need to be writing all of this in your book. If I go too fast, you can always pause. Number 2. You can flip figure A, this guy over here, over this line, and that line is called a line of reflection, kind of like a mirror. If you flip it across that line, you can have the same figure just mirrored across, okay? So I wish that I was able to flip on this app. That would be really cool. But I'm just going to go ahead and finish drawing it. You kind of have to be an artist to kind of visually see this. But can you see how A and C are the same shape, the same size, but there's just been a translation? There's just been a slight little transformation. And what is that? The transformation is that it was flipped. I'm going to try to redraw that because I wasn't very satisfied with how it turned out. Okay, still not satisfied, but you get the gist. B, a movement that flips a figure is called a reflection. What is the same about A and C, and what is different? So basically the same thing that we just did on 1. What is the same? It is the same shape, size, and measurements. What is different? The location. Is different. Oops. Remember, it's hard for me to write on an iPad. It's, you know, it's like trying to sign your name on your phone. It's just really tough. So don't come for me for my handwriting, children. Okay, before we move on, I want you guys to look at A and C for a second. If I said, what is the corresponding angle to this guy? I'm asking you which of those angles is the same. It just got flipped. A lot of kids will just automatically, oh, this one right here, because, you know, it's the top one. But that's not correct. It got flipped, remember? It's a mirror image. It's like opposite world, okay? This angle and this angle are corresponding, okay? This angle and this angle are corresponding. This angle and this angle are corresponding, and then this guy and this guy are corresponding. Gotta remember that they get flipped, okay? Gotta have like an artistic view of it. All right, let's go on. Page 6. All right, figure A is turned clockwise around that point right there. Remember I told you that they kind of stay at one point and kind of pivots, like in basketball you pivot with your foot. It kind of pivots at that point, okay? The point is called a center of rotation. A center of rotation can be any point inside, on, or outside of the figure. Complete the image by drawing the missing sides of figure D. Okay, so remember, you got to kind of be a little artistic in your mind. So I'm going to be turning this guy. All these points are turning. I mean, except for that guy. That's our pivot, okay? So let me go ahead and get rid of my lines I just made. This one's a little tough. So it looks like this 90-degree angle is this 90-degree angle. So they've already drawn this line, and they've already drawn this line. So that's easy. I just have a few lines left. And it looks like this is almost a 90-degree angle, but maybe not quite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and, ooh, it's a little tough, but I'm just going to go ahead and draw me a bit of an angle. It's okay if it's not perfect, as long as you get the idea that we just turned at the center of rotation, okay? Of movement that is a figure, turns a figure is called a rotation. What is the same about A and D, and what is different? So what is the same? Same shape, size. What is different? The only difference is that its location has changed. It's facing a different direction, right? So location changed, and it's facing a different direction. That's all it changed. A transformation describes the change of location, orientation, or size of a figure. Now, we haven't talked about that guy yet. We'll talk about that in a second. Translations, reflections, and rotations belong to the subcategory of transformations, called rigid transformations. Remember, it stays the same shape, but then it locates differently. Why do you think these are called rigid transformations? What does rigid mean? Rigid means something doesn't change. It means it's stiff, right? A transformation means that something changes. So they seem kind of contradictory, don't they? Think of my couch example from yesterday. The couch is rigid. It does not change. I can't morph my couch into now like a recliner. Or I can't just start bending my couch so it's an L-shaped couch, right? It's a rigid shape. But can I still transform my living room space? Yeah, of course. So why do you think these shapes are called rigid transformations? The answer is the shapes stay the same shape, but their locations and orientations orientation means like which way it's facing, can change. Okay, how is a rotation like a reflection? And then how is it different? So remember, a rotation is like what we did up here, where it rotates at a point, and a reflection is kind of like a mirror image of something. So how are they the same? Well, they're the same because a rotation and a reflection both move a figure from its original location. Okay, so I'm going to say they both change a figure to a new location. Okay. It seems like they both stay the same size, right? The shape stays the same size. Okay. But now how are they different? It's different because a rotation turns the image and a reflection flips the image. Okay, so we're going to say a rotation turns the image and a reflection, oops, flips the image. Okay, so that is the end of lesson 1. Remember, we have rotations, we have reflections, we have slides, which are called translations. Those are all things that we're going to be learning about this lesson. If you turn the page to page 7 and 8, you will see that it's a little bit different. It's got, up here it's green instead of blue like the pages we've been doing. Every time you see a green page, that's your homework, okay? It's got your name at the top. What you're going to do is you are going to fill out page 7 and 8 with your name on top. You are going to scan pages 7 and 8, and then you are going to insert them into this Google slide, and then you are going to submit this as your homework on Google Classroom. All right, don't forget, I'm here to help. I will help with your homework. I will help you upload if you need. Remember, you can always go back to this video and fill out your homework while watching the video if that helps. And good luck. This should be pretty fun. I like this stuff a lot.